Right now in Kenya, this is the best time to be an artist. I don't think we have had a time where doing business for an artist or even just being able to express yourself as an artist has been like this ever before. We're at a time where we are collaborating and we are developing very original concepts. There's a sun that's spitting water, there are palm trees, there's a guy and there's a chick who are playing drums, there are two traditional like beer mugs and the bottle. Those are just random elements that you can come across every day. The future for now is limitless in terms of what can be done. It's more of what do I want to achieve. We have a generation of people who are open to new ways of doing things.
Yeah, me watch game get tumecheza. First una analyze vile tumecheza, then ukirudi next training unajaribu kuimprove vitu huko make right.
And inakonga poa for purposes za kuimprove na pia unaangalia mistakes zako hapa na pale na pia pale unaweza capitalize na pia opponent na pia ni fiti kwa ukienda to the next game unajua pale ulifanya mistake you can improve on that.
Kazi ingekuwa footballer, ningekuwa instructor wa gym.
Mimi kama singekuwa footballer, sidhani kama ningecheza sport nyingine because nimependa ball sana. So definitely maybe ningedo something else. Maybe ningekuwa into business.
The fastest ni mimi, hata anajua wezani.
Not really, but I'm fast. I'm also fast. Na lazima wote tuko fast.
I think the most embarrassing moment ilikuwa ni game ya Afc Leopard tukicheza na Zukericho. Hiyo game tulikuwa tuna lead 2-0 ikakuja ikaisha 3-2. It was embarrassing hiyo day tulilose hiyo game. Kati ya mimi na huyu wangu ndo anaweza piga masimu patanisho. Ukiangalia yeye anaslay sana. Kwanza hizi matatu kimuona hivi kila saa yeye ni mtu wa masimu lakini hazina impact.
Unafaa lead by example wewe kwanza. Unajua mimi ni mtu niko settled, sina mambo mingi lakini kidogo hapa kule movement hapa kule nini? Hapa kule movement Sasa unajua lazima itabidi tu siku moja tena ni tafadhali mpigie kidogo atulie.
And a very good evening to you and welcome to Afc Fanzone on a night where the CS of health spoke about the resumption of sports. I am absolutely in awe. Right here on Afc TV today, we want to have this very sensitive discussion about the league. And today, I am asking you, should the league be called off? Should the Kenya Premier League be called off? Remember what happened last season? Remember what is happening right now? There are no signs of the sport we love so much, that is football, resuming very, very soon. My name is Gladys Mediator and welcome to Afc Fanzone, and this is how we do it each and every Thursday. Right here on Afc TV. Remember, the only way you can be part of this amazing discussion is if you are following us on our social media handle pages. On Facebook, it is FC Leopards SC. On Twitter, it is at FC Leopards. On Instagram, it is at FC Leopards _SC. And on YouTube, it is FC Leopards SC. Remember to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Maze, FC Leopards is a place to be each and every Thursday. Karibuni sana on Ingwe Fanzone. I am absolutely delighted. There's nothing that makes my Thursday evening more exciting than having you right here on Ingwe Fanzone. Now, let's get this show on the road, and let's start off with some Fanzone news. Now, welcome. And we are starting off Fanzone News with Irene Karani. Yes, Irene Karani was appointed the co-opted member of the NEC committee. What happened? The National Executive Committee, effective of I think like 3 days ago, elected Irene Karani as an co-opted member. Now, what happens? You have to have, of course, the general rule has to apply. And this is exactly what happened. 1 year down the line after the office was elected, they did elect Irene Karani as the NEC co-opted member. Congratulations, Irene Karani, and I do hope that whatever plans the NEC has, you will be able to keep us in the loop and fight for what we are fighting for as the fans. As a co-opted member, you have a lot on your back, but many congratulations from Ingwe Fanzone and Afc TV right here. We are wishing you the very, very best. We know it is not an easy task to be in the NEC, but I do hope that all goes well for you. So many congratulations from Ingwe Fanzone and from Afc TV crew. Well, we wish you all the best. Now, guys, let's get this show on the road. What's on your make it to If there's something that has happened this week, it is the discussion of what CS Mutahi Kagwe said. He said, no resumption of sports just yet. And I want to hear from you, the fan. Super producer Willy Mulobi anaweka ile link pale Facebook, pale Instagram, pale Twitter. And I want to hear from you. I want to know, what is what do you have in mind? My question of the day today on Ingwe Fanzone, because I am very, very upset, and I'm not talking about an AFC fan, I am talking about a football fan. Should the league be called off? Because you know what? A lot is at stake. The reason why I am asking this question is because I want us to look at, number one, we have sponsors in this league. Are they getting value for their money when the league is not going on? As a club, we have sponsorship. Are our sponsors get value for their money? Last season, the season ended, the league was called off. Gor Mahia were declared champions in a league where I felt it was very tightly contested, but we're talking about FKF here. They said, you know what, let's call the league off because there are no signs of it coming back very soon. Now, we are in a similar situation like we were in. Should the league be called off? I am very, very concerned, and I am very, very upset because I love football. Football is the reason why we have this kind of discussions right now. Football is employment. Let's talk about the players. What should we do in regard to their salary? Now, I'm being joined by Kakaberu. And remember, when you're joining this discussion, please ensure you have proper lighting, ensure you have proper sound, because we want to get this and we want to get it right. I want to know, should the league be called off? And if it's going to be called off, what is going to happen? Who are going to be declared champions? Kakaberu. Kakaberu, good evening, my brother.
Good evening. How are you, Mide? Niko fiti, ukwaje?
Niko salama sana, nashukuru. Nimekasirika kidogo kwa sababu jinsi Mutahi Kagwe aliongea jana ni kama we have no hope for the resumption of sports. You are a fan. I want to hear your opinion.
Yes, very true. Lakini as per the situation currently, I agree with the Mutahi Kagwe's sentiment that maybe the league might not resume soon because of you see we are trying our best to flatten the curve, and the only way we can have resumption of the league of different leagues in this country, this is when we flatten to around 5%. But as per now, it is impossible. Of course, as a
Kakaberi, let me ask you a very simple question. Question. We as the sporting fraternity followed the protocols that were required by the Ministry of Health. We did not have more than 100 fans in the stadium. We did not, as in tukianza kuongelea zile mambo ambazo zilekea kwa sports, how many football fans or how many football players do you know contracted COVID during the period they were playing? Did they look at those statistics? That's my question.
Yes, you see, the decision that you see, the only person who can tell the Minister of Health that we as the football fraternity in this country, we are okay. That is the president of the FKF, because I'm a journalist. I interact with these. Most of these players are my friends, and actually none of them has contracted COVID-19 or has tested positive for these. And you see, actually we were complying with the precautions, because most of the matches were being played under a closed door. So I think my blame will be to people that I feel should now talk to the ministry, tell them that we have vaccinated all our players, so we are ready to continue or to resume with the league. But you see now, this will really affect most of the clubs, because the other day I saw assistant coach of Gor Mahia saying that it has become a challenge to have a virtual training. It is really difficult. If we resume if the league resumes, inamaanisha kwamba kutakuwa na mambo na how the morale was during the first leg, na tukiendelea unakuta kwamba most of the teams will start performing poorly. So I think we are being failed by the
Unajua Kakaberu, when you started this discussion, you said you agree with the ministry. Now,
yes,
let me put this to light. You are a journalist. You are aware that most of the athletes have been vaccinated. They've gotten the first round of vaccination. They are waiting for their second round of vaccination. Now, my question is, have they thought about sponsorship? Have they thought about salaries? Have they thought about the state of sports? Do you know why I am so infuriated right now? Is because we are having rally in less than 2 months, in about 64 days, 2 days, if I'm not wrong. Rally is coming to Kenya. Already Naivasha is overbooked. We have about 2,500 people who have already booked Naivasha. Tunajua rally itaendelea. But what is happening to the people who are supporting local football? I want other people to join in right now. I'm being told Chebet, what Abuka is doing. You know, no, honestly, Kakaberu, I am very, very upset. And I want to know what you as a fan are feeling right now. Don't talk to me as a journalist. Talk to me as a fan. Because you already know our state. There are so many livelihoods that are depending on uh, on local sports. When we talk about international sports out there, people blame us and say we do not talk enough about local sports. But right now, wametufungia huku nje, we cannot talk about local sports.
You see, yes. Let me speak as a football fanatic, because as per the situation currently, there's nothing is going on in this country in terms of as much as the sports is concerned, and I will still insist. I blame people who are responsible, because we need to tell Minister of Health, because Minister of Health cannot just wake up and say now, let us now resume, the leagues. That is impossible. Our representatives, we need to tell them. Go tell the Ministry of Health that sisi kama Kenya Premier League vaccinate all our players, so we are ready to resume with the league. Sisi mashabiki ndio tunaumia. And you said something earlier that can we cancel the league? That will be injustice for most of us, especially AFC Leopards, fans, because we feel this was our year, this was our season. Yes, so there's we need to have the league resuming. And sisi mashabiki ndio tunaumia. We were happy because our team was really performing well, and people started following our local football. But you see now, all the focus is on EPL, UEFA Champions League, and other leagues. So I feel at some point this is not fair. From the people concerned, you've mentioned about the rally that will be taking place in a few weeks to come, and because there are a lot of investments in these rallies, there are big companies, sponsors, these rallies. Look at our local football. Who are funding who are sponsoring our league? You see, so this is the matter of the interest yangu iko wapi, kama maybe waziri ama wizara pale, ndio unakuta kwamba we are failing because government haijaweka much focus on football in this country, because we have the potential of producing the best talents in this country, but look at now.
Let me if I can, Kaka, let me just add in a few people. Mililu and Chebet, good evening.
Good evening.
Milimu.
Yes.
Let me tell you, thank you very much for joining us this evening. Chebet, Abuka, very good evening to you. Milimu, I think you're the only one who's joining Kaka and I. Milimu, I have to ask you this burning question. Last year, we were in the same situation. Right now, we are on the spot. The minister said he does not approve of sports getting back anytime soon. Let's talk about this. Should the league be called off?
No. Okay, I think if it stays for another 2 weeks or 3 weeks before it starts, I think the league should be called off, because what are we going to be competing for? The stop will be unnecessarily long. I don't find the justification by the Ministry of Health in stopping football and sports from continuing. To me, from where I sit, I find it as unfair. The sport industry is being treated very unfairly. I think even countries that are doing worse, like South Africa, with the most cases on the continent, are playing football. We've not seen matatus stopped working. The markets are running. Why should sports be punished? I think when I heard the minister talk about sports, to him, sports is when people sit in pubs and watch football. That is not the truth. We need to speak against this kind of discrimination that the industry is getting from the people concerned. sportsmen are being treated like second-grade citizens in this country at this stage. Now, how are clubs supposed to run? How are things? The sponsors will literally say, okay, we don't see any value. They kind of, if last year the ministry said it's supporting people, it only sent 10,000 shillings, I think, for 2 months or something. So what then? How are clubs supposed to generate revenue? No funds.
Yes, it becomes very expensive to, to keep clubs at bay. And I think there's a lot of unfairness when it comes in regard to who should be dropped and who should stay in the league, because you have a very fair chance of still fighting for your place when the second leg starts.
Definitely.
Ambaisi, good evening. Maze, unajua, me by the way, umelipiwa mahari ama nikulipie?
I think Ambais is off. I'll take the question which you said, who stays and who goes out. It's very hard at this juncture, because the league was at that point where you cannot determine who gets relegated. Neither can you say who is the champion. But I feel the federation has been slightly, the negotiating power of the clubs, there seems to be zero unity in handling this issue. I wish there was more focus and more drive. It's been a month, no comment. I mean, we can't be talking about this issue without... Last year I saw in Europe, the federations and the governments of the day really working in tandem to get a solution to this. But here, we seem to have given up. Sportsmen have literally given up. You see, a club like Leopards has not had any salary cuts for its players for a whole year.
Yeah.
But it's
burdening. It's difficult to actually keep it. Yeah.
It's burdening because there are no funds in the stadium. Normally, when funds are in the stadium, the club makes a revenue of almost 10 million shillings from gates collection. While that isn't seen as big money, it goes a long way in helping certain units of the office to run and small administrative events. But now there's no money. The players, the salaries will definitely have to delay. There's no injection from the government to support on salaries. In countries in Europe, for example, in Britain, the EPL, all the clubs received at least 300 million pounds to sustain them during COVID last year. What has this government done? We've seen a lot of money coming in for COVID injection. We don't receive anything to support our industry. All we receive is punishment. The music industry is dead. The entertainment industry is dying. I mean, I don't see why
the hospitality industry,
with respect to him, the CS lied that when the stadium was opened, fans were full in the stadium watching matches. That is not the official leagues. The official leagues have been running without fans. The minister himself probably has never attended a match all his life here in this country. He should stop lying on national TV.
Okay. Victor, I need to calm you down. I need to give you a moment. Ambaisi, karibu sana, my brother.
Yes.
I hope kwanza, by the way, kabla unipe opinion yako, mimi nataka kujua umelipiwa mahali ama nikulipie saa hii.
Ni neti imenisumbua kidogo.
Aina mambo, Victor amejam. And the reason why Victor and Kakaberu are very, very angry is because I'm asking a very tough question. Should the league be called off? Because Maze Malisa imefika, it's been 1 month. People are not receiving salaries. It's expensive to put people on salaries. Imagine tuko na sponsor analipa wase salary but apati value for their money. What should we do about the situation sai? Wewe kama fan unaonaje?
Our football federation and leaders were our own football fraternity, and to be at large sports fraternity wamefail sana sports. Country mob, let's say a good example ni English Premier League. Najua ni first world but tuna learn from them. In the first round walifanya lockdown, ligi ilisimama. But the second round wakifanya lockdown tena, lockdown ilifanywa but sports ziliendelea kwa sababu walijipanga. So our federation nimeona wamejaribu, wamevaccinate players, but wako na plan kwa sababu players wanafaa kuwe kwa bubble. wana plan wa communicate. Hata tukisema tusimamishe league, remember all players are on contract. Tusimamishe league, lazima walipwe salaries. So so our federation needs to be very serious na hii ball. I know kuna mahali wamejaribu, wamefanya poa, na si yao peke yake, pia sport fraternity tu ya Kenya. Sports Kenya is like an extracurricular activity. Tujaichukulia kama kazi or business. And I don't know why.
Ambaisi, I have a differing opinion to you. We're asking the federation to handle a health matter that the government is supposed to handle. The question is, how much can this federation do and how much can the league do to sustain? Because some of the measures are beyond them. If there are no vaccinations that are being provided by the ministry, there's nothing the federation is going to do. If the federation is not also, this government has literally, it's not supporting sports. People are going to the Olympics very soon. There's World Cup qualifiers coming.
I agree with you, Victor, and I want Kakaberu to answer that question because he is in journalism, he's a sports journalism. Probably he can give us a different perspective from what you, I, and Ambaisi have. Kakaberu, sikia hiyo swali ya Victor.
Victor, Ebu rudia tu dakika moja.
No, I'm saying that there's so much the federation can do. The CS, if they're saying, if the absence of things like vaccines, there's nothing we can do. If there's the ministry, yes, or the government has not supported sports at all with any injection. There's been almost 1 trillion shillings that has come through this government during the COVID period, and the sports industry can only say to have seen maybe 20 million. That is ridiculous to punish the same people who are having almost, who have people who are coming on board to help the game. No, I feel it's unfair at this point.
Yes, I get it clear. Actually, I agree with you because if you look at the mitigation to combat the issue of COVID-19, and we have not seen much from government in terms of supporting our players. I remember when the first wave hit us so hard, we saw the CES coming up and saying that they're going to do a cash transfer to some of the players, and even the federation was involved. But we don't know how much was dispersed for the local teams, and that's a simple question. If you give a Premier League player 20,000 just once, do you think that money will sustain him? No, it cannot sustain him. What the issue here is, Victor, you realize, our government has really neglected our sport fraternity, especially football. Yeah, because this now a challenge, a wake up call to our football clubs. We need to come up with structures. We need to come up with ideas on how we can generate money. I'm a lover of Tanzanian Premier League. I love Tanzanian Premier League because of what these guys, they really know what they want. Actually, they are in business, and our problem is our football administration in this country. We are not in business. This is where we are getting wrong. This is where we are going wrong. Let me tell you, we have seen different, a club signing, sponsorship deals with different organizations and companies. But when the league stops, do we have a clause that says that, when the league stops, now the salary automatically will stop? No. These people are contracted. You are in a 1-year contract. Hii inamaanisha kwamba every month you are entitled to a salary. You see, and this is where we are getting wrong. And
yes. Let me just retaliate, or rather add weight to what Victor is saying. Victor is saying, as sponsors, yeah, we have BetSafe as our main sponsors. They are feeling the pinch because they are net getting value for their money. The reason why they invest in a club like FC Leopards or invest in a club like Gor Mahia, they expect to get returns back. How do they get returns back? We have social media influence. We have people watching the matches online. We have people watching the match on TV. This is how they get their money back. So you are insisting that the players should be paid because they are on contract. But have you thought about how the sponsor is getting their money? Ambaisi, wewe umekaa pale nyumbani, umepewa nafasi ya kuona game ya FC Leopards. Kakaberu anasema ya kwamba, you know what, doesn't matter what is happening, the players should be paid. Kama ingekuwa wewe unapea FC Leopards pesa, ungetaka pesa yako iende hivyo?
Okay, that is a contract nilisainiwa between FC Leopard and the sponsoring company. So kuna clauses, but easy company is all about money and value for money. So long as awako games zao aziko aired na their merchandise haionekani, kwa sababu players ndio wanabeba hizo merchandise, wata retaliate, watasema tunataka kukata pesa ama tunataka ku-withdraw. So it's for the leaders kuongea with the sponsors and see on our way tutakam about it. On my first issue nikisema I was blaming the federation. I think Victor amenipatia another angle, but I still the federation, because the bridge between the government and football of Kenya, the bridge is the Kenya Football Federation. Kenya Football Federation wanapata pesa kutoka FIFA. Currently kuna private investors wanataka kubuy vaccines. Kenya Football Federation can organize and buy vaccine, lobby na government iwapatie license, wanaweza buy vaccine. There's a lot that they can do. I know the government has to play the role, but even the English FA iliongea with the government, wakaplan vile players wataenda kwa bubble, everything. Government wanakuanga na a lot of issues to deal with. So if you don't take your issues and try to force them, utapata your way. So I'm not saying kila niku wafanye hivyo because sina surety. Maybe wanaifanya hivyo behind the doors, ile na sisi hatuoni. So kama imewashinda, waeke vitu wazi, mafans tujue ni nani kwa government anakata federation imepropose hizi, nani ndo anarudisha federation nyuma kwa government. But if hawafanyi hivyo, wajue wanafanya very wrong to these players, na to the fans, na to the game at large.
Yeah, Gladys, just to jump in, because I think, yes. Gladys, before you break me, for me, I feel where things are, it's tough, especially for like our club. From where we are, like our unit in terms of media, it's tough for going for a whole year without proper content, to produce content. What are we producing? It's been a whole year of suckers. It's 1 year where it's tough to even however much creative you want to be, there is so much you can really pump in. Like to get some of the footage and the like, even if you take people back to TBT can only last so much. People get tired. People want to see football because the current football that is running. In my opinion, I feel if this goes on until maybe, as they're saying, 29th May, call off the league, let's forget about this season. Let's think about next season. But then it means that some of the clubs, we're seeing a lot of challenges on payment. Even us, as a club, we've really had it tough to really be on time on payment. And people ridicule us, people laugh at us, but this club is trying. This management are giving their best in the toughest times. But who is supporting us? I feel the sport industry is being left to hang. Probably the only thing that is considered as sports in this country is national teams. They seem to be getting all the support from the government. But national teams are nothing without clubs, especially in football. You cannot build the national team based on foreign players because you killed the local team, or rather foreign-based players because you killed the local game without a valid reason. I mean, then maybe if Nairobi is a problem, let's tell all the clubs, okay, fine, Nairobi is a problem. We'll check all the players where all the games should be outside the zones that have an issue. the game could have continued. Why did we have to really block all these things? Would have let these players leave, go out of the red zone, and then continue the game from there, maybe. Because I feel you cannot let the other industry
gentlemen, we have to take...
Gladys, before we go the break, markets are full,
Yes.
people are doing every other thing, but when it comes to sports, only 20 or 40 people in the stadium, it's a punishment. Doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense.
Victor, just to add, even in the music industry, musicians are traveling. I see musicians living in Nairobi, and this weekend they do shows huko mashinani Malituko. Like tomorrow there's a musician coming at our place, and he's in Nairobi. He's coming to our town. So if musicians are traveling, I don't know what is wrong with this, our football and our sports at large. There's something not even funeral. People are traveling for funerals. Just they get the pass and they travel. So sports, I think we need to engage the government. The federation and all the sport fraternity, they need to engage the government. I think the game can come back.
Well, gentlemen, we have to take a short break, Maze. I just have to breathe. But I want to hear from you guys. Send in your comments. I'm telling you, I need to read, if my producer can allow me, let me just read a few comments. One lady called Nedia Munga says, do these people in government know that there are so many people who their livelihoods depend entirely on football / sports? I am pained, and I do agree with her. Dennis Ambaisi, you're here with me. He says this government should just let us be. Ingwe, we were doing well. By the way, wametuchomea. Hii ilikuwa season yetu. Hatoki kucheza kiarsenali hapa. Imburi anasema, no, this is our season to win the league. It should just continue. Tumalizane mpaka mwisho. Who else? Vincent Ayego is saying the government just didn't have a plan. That is basically it. It was a rushed decision just to lock down things. Do you agree? Was it a rash decision? Do you think, or let me ask this question to you gentlemen before we take a break, and I want you to think about it carefully. Did the government consult the sports fraternity before they discontinued sports? We're taking a short break. And remember, this is Afc Fanzone right here on Afc TV. This show is brought to you courtesy of Kenyan Originals and BetSafe. Remember, if you're going to drink, no, do not drive. If you are going to bet, ensure you bet safely. This is how we do it each and every Thursday right here on Afc TV. This is Afc Fanzone. We are taking a short break, but when we return, I want to hear from you, the fan. The gentlemen are going to be...
Right now in Kenya, this is the best time to be an artist. I don't think we have had a time where doing business for an artist, or even just being able to express yourself as an artist, has been like this ever before. We're at a time where we are collaborating and we are developing very original concepts. There's a sun that's spit in water, there are palm trees, there's a guy and there's a chick who are playing drums, there are two traditional like beer mugs and the bottle. Those are just random elements that you can come across every day. The future for now is limitless in terms of what can be done. It's more of what do I want to achieve. We have a generation of people who are open to new ways of doing things.
Well, welcome.
In my view, being a Kenyan original is being true to who you are. There are just moments when that question of what do you want to do with your life, you know, what makes you feel happy, what makes you feel fulfilled. I had faith that if I do my work well and just put it out there, it's going to connect. It's like you're putting a note in a bottle and then throwing it in the ocean, and then you're just hoping something comes back. Because we went from a place of people are nervous for you to them now trusting and enjoying the journey with you. The KO partnership has been really cool, and when I looked at like their visual identity, already had so much like rich color, like they're not afraid to try new things, they're not afraid to be bold, to be different. It just felt like a match made in heaven.
The first time I'm having my art on something I'm drinking up. First time for everything.
Welcome back to Ingwe Fanzone, and I'm telling you tonight, I am asking the very, very important question. Should the league be called off? If the league is called off, that means Tusker FC will be named the champions of the Kenya Premier League. But we have to remember that FC Leopards, KCB still had a chance to win this league. Now, gentlemen, thank you very much for being patient. Yes, thank you very much for being patient, Victor. And welcome back. I asked a question before the break. Do you think the government or the Ministry of Health consulted the Ministry of Sports or in regard to matter sports? Because as it is in Europe right now, because that is where we are benchmarking from, as it is in Europe right now, they are working on fans getting back to the stadium as of next month. Do you think we are planning ourselves properly? I just want to hear from you, gentlemen. Victor, I'm going to start with you, then I'm going to go to Ambaisi and then Kakaberu, because I know Kaka has a lot to say.
No, I think for me, I feel however much we might want funds back, the government is not giving us a lot of guidance and proper measures to get back to the stadium. The government is looking like it's bullying people. If the Ministry of Sports handed over the issue of sports to the health ministry to decide, from the information that some of us have got, I mean, if the Ministry of Sports says, okay, we don't know what to do, CS help us, what do you think he'll think? To him, he'll think people going back to pubs to probably watch football. Now, in Europe, people are going back to the stadium because where they've vaccinated maybe enough numbers. That's why they want fans back in the stadium. But these players have still been living their lives. They've still been living their lives, even though they've been keeping caution. Well, it's tough to do that in Kenya now, but clearly we cannot have markets open. We cannot have everything else running and then say that sports can't work. Well, I know it's risky everywhere, but surely, can we look for a way to make this work? If indeed Nairobi was not safe, it was a red zone, it would have been easy to take matches outside Nairobi if the government would have guided. I don't know what's wrong with maybe the federation who are running the league are a bit timid in taking up this issue. Maybe, perhaps, I don't know. But then Tusker can't also be declared champions as per the rules of the league. Less than half of the matches have been played, and unless somebody wants to play dirty games so that only a few matches get played, maybe each team plays more than half the matches, then again you suspend the league. That's when Tusker will be declared champions. And that's what I'm saying, at this stage, should we have this extending longer? Cancel the damn thing if it can't finish. Don't declare anybody a champion. Everybody's severely disadvantaged. Rather than going to declare fake champions for the second season running, I wouldn't support that. Even if Leopards are at the top and the league gets to finish, it won't help us.
Brother Collins Naholi saying the government did not consult anybody before closing the country. There's someone else here who is saying, I don't think they consulted at all. The kawaida ni jacked, the reaction at the expense of the sportsmen and women. Pure kabisa. That is a reaction I'm reading right here. Ambaisi. Hey, yeah. Wacha nikuulize swali. At the end of the day, we need sports. sports is a unifying factor. When we look at the numbers in regards to COVID-19 and sporting, it was not as high, by the way. When you look at rugby, Kenya Rugby Union did a letter to the government, and they said, ukiangalia the amount of time it takes for rugby to bring back fitness, it's a very long time. Let's talk about the fitness when it comes to football and everything. We have to pay for training grounds. We have to pay, it's expensive. Do you think the government is laying their very, very long arm unfairly when it comes to sports?
Yeah, it is very clear to see. It is very clear to see that the government has really let the sport industry down, because now the sport industry is operating at a loss. To be honest, for players to stay 1 month without playing and them being paid the salary, sponsors, that one, it means we are operating at a loss in the sport industry. Maybe our government doesn't see sports as an industry. I don't know why. Sijui Kenya siku gani tutapata government nitaona sport as an industry. So me, what I will call is for all the federations, they need to come up together, wakuje with a plan, include funds na lobby the government, because vile kunaenda, we might end up cancelling the league. Will not have a champion because of the rules, and itakuwa loss. It will be lost to us, to everybody, the sponsors, TV rights, kila mtu atapata loss. For what? Kenya is the only country in the region. Countries zote ziko na COVID. It's only Tanzania ndo walideclare hawana COVID, but we know all countries wako na COVID. Even some wako na worse kutushinda. South Africa. But their league is going on. Uganda, ligi ya Uganda inachezwa. Ethiopia, ligi ya Ethiopia inachezwa. Hata ligi ya Somalia inachezwa. So I don't know why, kwani Kenya sisi hatuwezi kama muda mechanism ndo ligi yetu iendelee. No, there is something very, very wrong. I think Amina, the sport CS wa sport, minister of sport, Amina Mohamed, she really needs to think about this. I think kwa hiyo cabinet meeting, she needs to stand for sports. Ambia watu hapana, she has all. Ako na good example, Uganda, Rwanda, everywhere. There is a million ways of which tunaweza resume the sports. So the government, I think, waku consult na wana let the sport industry down, kwa sababu ni huge losses in the sport industry.
Victor, huge losses. We are talking about money, sponsorship, gate collections, sales of merchandise. All this boils down to the club. When we want to talk about governance and how much clubs are supposed to be making and how much clubs are dependent on the amount of money we make during the period they play, it all boils down to money. Right now, we are in a situation where we've not made any money in the last 2 seasons when it comes to gate collections. We've made very little amount of money when it comes to sales of merchandise. And let's not even get to the amount of money clubs have lost in regard to sponsorship. What do you think is the way forward for us as a sporting fraternity? Because if we call off the league, that means to sahau maneno ya sponsorship, fine, we've signed a contract, but a contract can be null and void because we do not know the terms of contract that was signed. Again, Ambaisi, as much as we are saying that, I remember you said that players should be paid because of, there's a contract, but we do not know the terms and the conditions of the contract that the sponsors got into with the club. Does it cover? We don't know whether it covers the pandemic.
Pandemic.
We do not know, because you know it's very, very difficult. But Victor, answer my question. What are we going to do?
As I said, it depends. You see, competition that can be the competition was doing well. That's what I'm saying. Should we reach a point where there is no clear direction, the conditions are stacked, they are stacked against sports, then we have to cancel the league and plan afresh. But the only problem I have is the job losses that are coming with this kind of haphazard movements, because on a normal, how many employees are there? There are quite a number of employees, and this disruption is stopping a lot of work and job opportunities that surround the sports industry, right from broadcasting, coaching, development. And you know, while we might be speaking as FC Leopards about the top league, this cuts down to our lower clubs. We also have an academy that's running. There's no competitive football
Yes.
for that academy. It's not training. So how do you expect even to start the other league? We might have contracts of players running out. We may have identified younger players to join. To get fitness for a player in terms of
No.
football, you need at least 3 weeks to get back the fitness. 3 to 4 weeks. That's when the player can be able to be match fit to play. So if this can be
Victor,
yes.
allow me to just cut you short. Yeah, someone has asked a very important question here, and the reason why I want to ask this question to you, Ambaisi and Victor, is because ameniuliza, how will our national team compete when our league is suspended or cancelled? Because we get majority of our players from the leagues. Wachana wale wenye wanacheza kule nje, those are just additional. Hiyo ni ile tunasema nguvu za papa na nyangumi. We have to add firepower to whatever we have in our leagues. Ambalisi, we are supposed to prepare for World Cup qualifiers, and as it is, Victor, I remember we once had this discussion right here on Fanzone, and we're talking about other teams styling up. We talked about Uganda, we talked about our state when we were in Togo, we talked about the players who represented FC Leopards taking part in the national team. How does this affect our national team? Because you know, a lot of thought and weight has not been put into it.
National team, to be honest, will be affected. Look at the teams natuko in the same group now. Uganda, their league is going on. Mali, 90% of their players wanatoka France. So league ya France inaendelea. Rwanda, their league is going on. Sisi players wetu wako tu wameka, and as you said it, 70% of our players wanacheza in the local league. So now it was a new team. Ghost Mlay was coming up with a new group of players. We had quite a new group of players and young players. So they are not playing. Football is not a miracle. Ball udunda kwa uwanja. So it had to affect if we are not careful. We still have a window to make things right, but it had to affect. It had to affect kabisa. National team, it had to affect.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mbaisi, because when there's no active football, you'll tend to rely on foreign players who probably also have tough roles in those countries are playing. And most of them pulled out for coming, because if you leave, you're supposed to again get to some sort of bubble, again, your cage. The clubs are not going to support that. And the player will just say, I'm unavailable, probably claim he's injured. I mean, everybody looks where their bread is buttered. If I'm in a club that's paying me 2 million every weekend, why should I even risk to come play for the national team where I could get injured and nobody might, in this period of time? So the people we can look up to, even Olunga missed some of the matches. If we're looking at getting the core of the team has to be localized, and that's what the coach has done. We cannot say we'll rely on people in the foreign leagues because we are not sure. So to me, the sooner the CS gives room and a bit of support, so that sports can resume, even if it's allowing maybe the top tier once again. Now, another thing, for example, I'll talk about something maybe which is just news today that has come out is Viga Queens have been named to be representatives in the inaugural CAF African Women's Champions League. There's no football going on.
Yes.
So how do you expect them to turn up and compete against Mamelodi Sundowns, Al Ahlis, and Simbas and the other strong teams? We have to look at the bigger picture, and I know soon FC Leopards will be having our own female team, and we probably would have been excited to be the ones representing this time round. But for me, I just feel if sports should be allowed to come back, give a bit more guidelines. But then if we cannot give those kind of organized guidelines, then it would be unfair to be actually continue with the league this season. But for me, I know it's going to hurt jobs, and that annoys me. Look, if we continue this way, the club will even say they want to slash salaries. So many other clubs. What next? Is that the industry want? I believe the minister needs to sit back and again evaluate, call maybe a special conference with the rest of the sports leaders. Let's have some guidance, because as fans, literally the only way we can connect with our teams is by watching them on TV, because we can't go to the stadium. Punishing fans who have invested, probably the fans who've been fans of this team since the 1960s.
But Victor,
yes.
I have to say, you're punishing fans who have already not been part of the sport for a whole season. So it doesn't add up. It does not
even
add
more
up.
punishment.
The only way we are giving revenue to our sports industry right now is through viewership.
Yes, that's true. And through forums like this one. It's through forums like this one, because you see at FC TV, our content relies on going to the training grounds, going to the stadium, picking what coaches are saying. Now, how do we grow our in-house platforms? Because there's no funding that's coming directly to us to say, okay, mitigate this measure in your content production. It's crazy. I feel this time we just spoke out openly, especially as fans and also as industry stakeholders, that somebody has to go back and sit back and reevaluate the situation and not just leave things hanging. Gladys.
Well, gentlemen, I let me tell you, I am baffled, I am perturbed, I am disappointed, I am a lot of things tonight. But at the end of the day, we are saying that we as the fans have the voice to bring back the sport. We are actually the voice. Let's look at what happened with the ESL, the European Super League. It is fans, it is players who sat on and we have to realize the power of social media, by the way. We have to realize the power of social media. If today all our players, all our fans came together and said, you know what? We are managing this pandemic. There's a fan here called Vicky Zola. Vicky Zola says, our government is behaving as if the pandemic is the only thing happening in Kenya. While we know China, Japan, England, Brazil are some of the countries which were hard hit, and they are still in the midst of the pandemic, yet the league is going on. And you know what? He has a valid point. He has a very, very valid point. Why are we behaving like this pandemic is the reason why everything is being stopped? We have bigger issues that we're dealing with. And Baisi, let's not lie that we do not know the level of corruption that is there in sports.
Yes, actually, this Kenya, we are becoming a joke of a country. Like the example one of our brothers given there, one of the most heated country currently is India. And India, their main sport is cricket. Go and look if it is not going on. Just go and check if it is not going on. So Kenya, yes, COVID is a serious disease that they need to react to it seriously, but we should not come here with ridiculous measures. Why do we have a third wave? Politics. Watu walienda marallies. Government iliona watu wanaenda rallies. Imagine fans, we obeyed the rules, tulikaa tu kwenda kwa ground, but rallies zili go on. Now watu na tunasafa ni sports tuliobey, rallies zilikuwa zinaenda all over, kulikuwa na political rallies all over, watu wanajaa. Some of them I'm sad to say the president of the nation was leading in some of those rallies. Sports we did not disobey. Hata in the main fixture in Kenyan football calendar, the derby ilichezwa bila fans.
Yes.
That one was the main. Now kama mafans tungeamua tufike huko tungefika, but tukasema because we want sports iendelee, acha tutii and obey the government. But the government has come and betrayed us completely. That's what I can say. So the CS needs to make sure that sports come back as soon as possible.
Well, gentlemen, I don't think we've exhausted this discussion, and I think we actually need to amplify it and make it bigger. We need to hear more voices talking about the state of sports in Kenya. We need to take it beyond football. We need to make sure that our voices are being heard, because you know what? A lot of things have been stopped. We can take in so much. And this has hit worse than the first time. It has. And you know, privilege is blinding. Just because you are seated up there and you do not understand the situation down here, it doesn't mean you have to take your place and say whatever it is you want to say without consultation, without thinking of the Wanjiku at the ground. There are people who are solely dependent on sports. I think some time back when sports was stopped, we saw one of our legends, Matthew Otamax, spoke about it, and he said, what? I am in the sporting industry and I am in the entertainment industry, and all this has been stopped. No one ever thought about it. I know of one player, who is a footballer by profession, and he's also a chef. So this guy cannot earn anything right now. Because you know what? The hospitality industry has been affected. The sporting industry has been affected. And this is absolutely unfair. This is absolutely ridiculous, for lack of a better word. Guys, I am sorry, but we have come to the end of an exciting and absolutely intense show right here on Ingwe Fanzone, and I have to thank the gentlemen who made time to join us this evening, and everyone who made time to comment and give us their opinion right here on Ingwe Fanzone. You know what, guys, this is a discussion I am not letting go. I want our voices to be heard. Remember, you can be part of this discussion. This is something I am going to request the FC media team to put on the whole of this week. Should the league be called off, what is the state of sports in Kenya? We need to know. We need to be let in on the limelight. We need to know exactly what is going on. Thank you very much for joining us. Remember, the only way you can be part of this conversation and part of this greater family is by joining us on our social media handle pages. On Facebook, it is FC Leopards SC. On Twitter, it is at FC Leopards SC. On Instagram, it is at FC Leopards _SC. On Instagram, on YouTube, it is FC Leopards SC11. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. The only way you can be part of great discussions is if you are following FC Leopards on their social media handle pages. Let me tell you, I'm going to sleep a disappointed woman. I'm going to sleep a disappointed fan, most of all. So as you sleep tonight, ask yourself the question, what is the state of the Kenyan sport? On behalf of Ingwe Fanzone, it is good night. God bless you. I want to thank everyone who made this show possible. Super producer Willie Mulobi, Victor Milimu, the FC Secretariat NEC. I just want to say thank you very much for making this absolutely amazing. Good night. God bless you. And remember, this is always ours forever.
In my view, being a Kenyan regional is being true to who you are. There are just moments when that question of what do you want to do with your life, what makes you feel happy, what makes you feel fulfilled. I had faith that if I do my work well and just put it out there, it's going to connect. It's like you're putting a note in a bottle and then throwing it in the ocean, and then you're just hoping something comes back. Because you went from a place of people are nervous for you to them now trusting and enjoying the journey with you. The KO partnership has been really cool, and when I looked at their visual identity, already had so much rich color, they're not afraid to try new things, they're not afraid to be bold, to be different. It just felt like a match made in heaven.
The first time allowing my art on something I'm drinking up. First time for everything.
Yeah, mi watch game ke tumecheza. First una analyze vile tumecheza, then ukirudi next training unajaribu kuimprove vitu huko make right.
And inakonga poa for purposes za kuimprove, na pia unaangalia mistakes zako hapa na pale, na pia pale unaweza capitalize na pia opponent, na pia ni fiti kwa ukienda to the next game unajua pale ulifanya mistake, you can improve on that.
Kazi ningekuwa footballer, ningekuwa instructor wa gym.
Mimi kama singekuwa footballer, sidhani kama ningecheza sport nyingine because nimependa ball sana. So definitely maybe ningedo something else. Maybe ningekuwa into business.
The fastest ni mimi, hata anajua wezani.
Not really, but I'm fast. I'm also fast. Nadhani sio wote tuko fast.
I think the most embarrassing moment ilikuwa ni game ya Afc Leopard tukicheza na Zuke Richo. Hiyo game tulikuwa tuna lead 2-0, ikakuja ikaisha 3-2. It was embarrassing hiyo day tulilose hiyo game. Kati ya mimi na huyu wangu ndo anaweza piga masimu patanisho. Ukiangalia yeye anaslay sana. Kwanza hizi matatu kimuona hivi, kila saa yeye ni mtu wa masimu, lakini hazina impact.
Unafaa lead by example wewe kwanza. Mimi ni mtu niko settled, sina mambo mingi, lakini kidogo hapa kule, movement hapa kule nini? Hapa kule movement Sasa unajua lazima itabidi tu siku moja tena tafadhali mpigie kidogo atulie.